like a carburetor looking thing.
Pretty much, yeah.
What is that?
This is an airlock. So these are our Chardonnay barrels. So because we're fermenting the wines in these barrels, the yeast is eating oxygen like us, breathing in oxygen, breathing out CO2.
Gotcha.
So because they're doing that a lot very rapidly when they're fermenting, they need a place for that CO2 to escape. So it's kind of like a one-way valve. The CO2, when this is fermenting, will actually bubble up through that water and escape out, so the pressure in the barrel doesn't build, but it prevents anything from getting in there. I can't just have an open top and let bugs and stuff get in there.
Right.
So it's kind of just like a one-way valve.
So we are going to open the top. And by the way, hi again, everybody. This is Hank Zoner, the Grapes Unwrapped, with Mike Beneducci, Beneducci Vineyards, and we're continuing our series on a year in the life of a vineyard and winery.
That's it.
So thanks for having us back, Mike.
Thanks for coming.
Great. So today we're going to do a few things again, inside and outside, weather permitting. So we're opening up the barrels. We're going to do some barrel work today, right?
We are. So this is our 2017 Chardonnay.
Okay.
So one of the things we do first time when we open a barrel is we want to look inside, and you just want to kind of look at the surface of the wine. One thing we would be worried about is if there's any surface film growing on the top of the wine. That would mean there might be a bacterial infection in there. So just visually, we first check it. There's nothing on there. You can see it's clean. Kind of looks like the bottom of a well. And then we want to pull a sample.
Okay.
So we use that with, this is called a wine thief. It's basically just like a big turkey baster. Or a straw. You stick it into the barrel. Put your thumb over the top of it, and then it comes out with wine. So this is our 2017 Chardonnay. So we'll taste this first, and then I'll tell you kind of what we're doing to the wine at this point.
Great.
So you can see this is unfiltered. These wines are fermented and aged in the barrel on what we call the lees, or the yeast sediment. So we're adding a small amount of yeast to this at the beginning of the fermentation. This is way back in October. It's fermenting in this barrel. We let that yeast settle to the bottom of the barrel. For a Chardonnay, we actually age on the lees, or the yeast sediment. And the thought behind this is that basically, as the yeast the cells break down, they add a little bit of a creaminess to the wine.
Give that richness to it.
Exactly. So we want that in our Chardonnay. So we're aging on the lees. So you can see it's a little bit cloudy. Again, kind of
but
like
still has a really pretty color to it, which
really
is
nice color. So let's taste this, see what we think it is.
Yeah, I mean, you got some really great acidity in that wine. That really is coming through.
Yeah, 17 at beautiful acidity. So kind of what we're doing at this point is trying to figure out how often we want to, how much texture we want to add to that wine. So we know the acidity is always going to be the backbone of that wine. I always want our Chardonnay to be acid driven. But one of the things we can do is kind of fatten it up as it ages, and the way we do that is through lees stirring, or what the French call bâtonnage.
Bâtonnage.
Stirring, because I don't speak any French.
Neither do I.
But you know, most of these techniques were developed in France, and so they have the original terminology, which they call bâtonnage, and this is what they would call a bâton. This is the bâton, so this is what they're using. So a bâton is very just simply a curved tool like this. You can see this one has kind of a football-shaped thing at the bottom that swivels. And so what we're doing, you can imagine the yeast sinking into this barrel. The bottom of the barrel is curved, so we need to basically scrape the yeast off the bottom of the barrel. And so that's what this thing is letting us do. It goes in through the top of the barrel, and you can see when it goes in, then it can sit at the bottom of the barrel like this. And I'm basically just going to scrape the bottom of the barrel. And so we'll do it from either direction.
Folks, this isn't one of those high-tech putters out there, so don't go looking for it at your golf stores or anything.
And this is an old school technique, and this is, bâtonnage, lees stirring. We have to do this on every separate barrel, typically once a week when the wine is young.
Early
and
on,
as that starts to build richness, it really is barrel by barrel. So one of them might need it once a month, one of them still might need it once a week. And so part of that for me is tasting it and saying how much do I want to fatten this up, how much creaminess do I want to add.
And that's based on taste.
Based on taste, totally.
And that's just another example of how you don't shut down. You're a year-round, 12-month operation when you've got wine going.
Yeah, I mean, these are still really young wines. These will be bottled in June, so we're just sort of kind of lightly guiding them toward that. And this is one of the important things we have to do. So I'll show you on this one, and then maybe you can do it in the other direction.
Excellent. Mike's cheap labor today. not necessarily good labor, but cheap labor.
So bottom of the barrel's curved like this. I'm starting at this end and then just kind of scraping it into the metal. So that side's done. Why don't you try it this side? And so you're going to basically put your hand here and then just kind of scrape toward the middle.
Just like this? Wow, I already sound like I'm not doing a good job, Mike.
It takes a while to get a feel for it. So try to picture it dragging along the bottom of the barrel, and you can actually feel it. You can feel the wood.
You can feel it, yep. And you can see it in the wine. You can see, you already see that it's already blending in.
Absolutely.
Into visually, you can get a sense of that.
Absolutely. So yeah, let's pull another sample, and we will we'll see what that wine looks like after. We've stirred the barrel up, and you can see already.
You can really see.
Totally different color.
Yep.
So now that yeast sediment is basically stirred back up into the wine, and you'll notice actually even on the palate, you'll taste a little bit of the difference. Just it's a little bit thicker, a little bit creamier, and as you can see, it's almost like milky white.
Yeah.
So you can see the difference here.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, really creamy. On the nose, I don't find that much of a difference because it really is the same wine. I mean, the yeast is imparting those aromatics slowly over time. So it's not like you're going to notice a total difference on the nose, but on the palate, you're going to pick up a little bit more richness.
I'd say there's still lots of fresh fruit in that nose.
Yeah, really citrusy.
Beautiful, yeah.
I really like where this is headed. Again, it's just finding that balance between how do we want to balance that creaminess with the acidity at this point, and then also how is this barrel going to work itself into the larger blend. So we're looking over about 20 barrels of Chardonnay. They're all from 2017 vintage. The same fruit, it's just that each barrel is actually going to be different. So we use different coopers, we use different barrel makers. We use wood from different forests, we use different toast levels. And so even though each of these barrels is from the same fruit, they all actually taste totally different.
Right.
And so part of our job this time of year is to work on blending. We lose an angel's share or evaporative loss. And in this barrel, it might be about 1 bottle per month. So over the life of this wine, it's going to lose about a full case worth of wine just evaporating into the air.
Lucky angels.
Yeah, that's why it smells so good in here.
That's right.
One of the things we have to do is top up.
Right.
So we want to we don't want to just let all that wine evaporate out and let it go lower and lower, because any bacteria that wants to grow on the wine is going to grow on the surface. So we want to basically eliminate that surface.
Right. So you're keeping it
exactly. So we have to add more Chardonnay.
Change the flavor profile too.
Exactly. So it's basically we just use a lemonade pitcher here, pretty low tech, and we're basically just pouring wine until it gets all the way back up to the top.